Exhausts are not supposed to be tied by tire tubes. If I do any more fiberglassing, I'm going to start having nightmares about it. Don't want that. This is just the temporary solution to my permanent problem. I'm trying to work here, bro. Thank you. How's it going, guys? My name is Vishwas and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to episode 7 of the Pulsar Cafe Racer build series. A build series where we are turning this Hunker Junk Pulsar 150 from the junkyard into a street-worthy cafe racer. Now, this episode is going to be an exciting one because we are going to be fixing and upgrading this junkyard bike with, you guessed it, more junkyard parts. It's going to be interesting because, well, that's what this channel is about, I think. But it's an upgrade, I swear. Not just that, we are going to be doing a lot of things in this episode, none of which I can think about right now because there is no order to this chaos. We are going to be doing as much as we can to this bike because I have no idea when the next lockdown is going to happen and I am not. Now that all that's out of the way, let's do this, shall we? What we're doing in today's episode is replacing these side footrest mounts, whatever these are called. I have no idea what these are called, but we are going to be replacing these old junky looking ones with new to us different units. Again, these are off of Pulsar 180 and that is why these are off of a Pulsar 80 and not a Pulsar 150. So what that does is it moves our footrest position from way up front up here to back here, and that is going to improve our seating stance, and that also changes the foot position on both the sides. Now this was one of the reasons of choosing a Pulsar chassis because, well, parts from all the bikes of all the generations, Pulsar 150, 180, 220, all those bikes are interchangeable and compatible with all the chassis because all the chassis are the same. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So let's get to it. And there we have it. Both the side thingies are on. Now you can clearly see this was where our footrest was before, and Jojo is having a moment. You done? Okay. This is where our footrest was and now this is where our footrest is going to be. Now, before any one of you starts complaining and commenting down below that this is not custom enough and does not match the vibe, I'll have to tell you this is just the temporary solution to my permanent problem. And that, like everything else in phase 1, is going to be upgraded or changed in phase 2. So, until then, this is much cooler looking than the old one. So, we'll keep that. That is one system done. Now, moving on to the next one. Well, it wouldn't be an episode if there weren't problems. As you saw, we got the brakes working. This one sort of kind of works. Everything we need to get a spring on this thing. We need to get a bump stop for this or make one. I had to bend the connecting rod a little bit, and then just when I thought everything was done, this happens. That is not supposed to be that way, clearly. Exhausts are not supposed to be tied by tire tubes. Anyways, parts on the Pulsar chassis are still interchangeable. Not intercompatible though. Correction. What this forces us to do is remake the exhaust again. I could just make something work for now, but well, I had to do the exhaust anyway, so might as well do it now or in the next episode, depending on my mental stability. On the other side, was out of stock on the connecting rods, even for the gear shifter. So as you can see, the gear shifter is in place, the locator is in place, but there's supposed to be a rod in between here and here, which is out of stock everywhere in Mangalore. So I'll have to special order one of those. Then, as I told, the springs. The next thing would be to bleed the brakes, but again, I'll do that in a while. So, honestly, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do next. So whatever is in next clip is what happens. So
tomorrow.
So the next thing I actually wanted to do was make the body panels out of the fiberglass. But given our success in the last episode with fiberglass components, or lack thereof, I have since decided that I will not be doing that in fiberglass, and I am just going to cut the chase and get them 3D printed because, well, one that will save us a lot of stress and effort and time, and that will come out much cleaner on the first try. I already have them 3D printed, so that solves that problem. Now that we have that time, we can focus on making this part better than it actually is. This one has to be perfect for me because, again, the next step would be to make the lights which go inside this, and the way we are going to make this... Jojo, please. I'm trying to work here, bro. Thank you. So the way I'm going to make the tail lights, the way I'm going to make the tail lights and how they are going to look is going to be relying heavily on this piece being proper and right and in the proper shape. So we are going to focus on that, and we are going to do something which I should have done in the beginning of this series. I mean, you've seen me make fiberglass parts and they are basically the same. The only difference this time is that we are going to be doing something which we should have done a long back when we actually started making that piece, which was making it off of the original piece. Because I think this one would be much better and the shape would come out much closer to what I actually want. So we'll try to keep it as short as possible. So enjoy.
Loving you, life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again, shaboom, and hoping we'll meet again. Oh, life could be a dream, shaboom. And I ding dong, plans would come true. And I ding dong, my whole life loving you, life could be a dream, sweetheart.
So there we have it. After one long session, one long frustrating fiberglassing session, what we have here is another disappointment. Again. Now, the shape on this one came out much better than any other one I've done, but again, as you see, there's holes in places it's not supposed to be. And this one came out a lot wavier than the other ones. There's a lot of wavy here. There's a lot of waves here. It's not straight. Again. But we're going to take a break. We are going to take a long break from fiberglassing because, to be honest, if I do any more fiberglassing, I'm going to start having nightmares about it. Don't want that. So, we're going to leave it there. We're going to improve on it later. But what we are going to move on to next is the tail lights are supposed to go in this. As you can see, these two posts are already here, and that is where the tail lights are going to mount. And the tail lights are going to be one piece of art, let me tell you that. So, let's get started. And there we have it. That is not the light, that is the cardboard. Glow. But again, that is the CAD model of what is going to be our lights now. Now, why this is important is because we are going to be making our lights out of 4mm acrylic. And the only things I could find which was 4mm was cardboard. So, we have all our dimensions. We have to transfer it over to acrylic and make it light up. So, that's the next thing.
1, 2, 3, jump!
it. The lights are mocked up in place, and for once, believe me, this is not cardboard. I swear, this is not cardboard. Looks like it, but it's not cardboard. This is actually acrylic or plexiglass. Or now that we have it in place and we know that our measurements are right, and now it's time to light it up. So that's what you're gonna see next. So there we have it. The battery is with us. It's in place, and to no one's surprise, we got problems. Now, originally to mock up the battery, we had a thermocol block, and the thing with thermocol is over time it starts to soften up a bit, and that is exactly what happened. And that is why everything we made around here is a little bit too small to fit the battery the way I want it to, and so that is why now this is the position of the battery. We're gonna make a battery tray for this thing, but in order for the battery to fit, we are going to have to make a slight modification to this piece where the rear CDI unit actually mounts. This one actually mounts, so we're gonna have to move it a little bit, almost half a quarter of an inch, a little bit towards the back. So I don't think that's going to be a problem, but now that we have that in place and we know what we are going to do with that, we are going to have to design a battery tray for that and get it 3D printed. So that is that. Talking about 3D printing, we are going to be moving to the next most exciting thing which we have been waiting for since last episode, and that is these side panels. The side panels are finally in, and if I dare say, they look mighty fine. Now we are going to get working on actually fitting these things, because from 3D printing these things do not have any mounting holes on them. Well, why? Because we didn't decide how to mount them yet. So we are going to figure that out. We are going to make some holes in this, modify this, and by the end of this video try to make this thing permanent or semi-permanent until the next round of welding, I guess. So let's get to it.
I'd like to. I'd like to. I'd like to love you every day. I'd like to love you. I'd like to love you. If I may. I'd like to love you. I'd like to love you. I'd like to love you night and day, if I may.
And there we have it. The 3D printed body panels are in their final resting place on both sides, permanently mounted, and just in time, because we just received our final 3D printed piece of this puzzle, which is the battery tray. Now I designed this battery tray, sent it out for 3D printing. Took a little bit time because again there were some complications with the print itself, but we have it and now it's time to fit it actually. I designed this battery tray in such a way that it would just latch onto this existing support brace which we had put up in the earlier episodes and just make mounting much easier. It did. It just finally works as designed. It's not going anywhere. It just latches onto that support brace and the battery can rest just like that without any worries of moving front to back. And then this battery will be strapped down from over here to this support brace, back down till there, so that it doesn't move any further. Left, right, front, back, up, down. Anyway, this battery is not going anywhere. And to my own surprise, the seat pan just clears without much finagling, almost as if we planned to do it. So, and with all that said and done, we have finished what we set out to do in the beginning of this episode. We got the taillights mounted, we have the 3D printed body panels mounted, we have the battery mounted, we have the electrical system almost done, we have the brakes. No, I won't say brakes are questionable. But all that said and done, we made a lot of progress on this build in this episode to an extent that you could put some fuel in and this thing would fire right up. And that is exactly what we are going to be doing in the next episode. So until then, peace.